Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Daniel Estulin. Welcome to our World at Large episode for my YouTube channel in English. I think it's safe to say that the entire world has seen the White House meeting between Trump, Vance, and Zelensky. This was truly a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but while most people analyze the events from a political point of view, it was said and not said, I'd like to analyze that fateful meeting from a point of view of body language. You see, you can lie with words. I mean, what does it cost you to say, I love you, when you don't? Or very nice to see you, when you wish you were somewhere else, doing something else with someone else. But it's very difficult to lie with your body. And so today, I'd like to analyze that meeting from a perspective of body language. And in deciphering the body language, perhaps we could learn the hidden elements of what the protagonists really were trying to tell us without realizing. And so, there we go. Trump versus Zelensky, the invisible battle of the minds in the White House. Let's watch a video. So I rewatched the video of the meeting between Zelensky, Trump, and Vance several times, analyzing every movement, micro-expression, intonation, and how their brains adapted to the situation in real time. You see, this was not just a conversation, it was a battle of strategies where nonverbal cues said more than words. Now, if you pay attention, Zelensky looked wary from the very beginning. He crossed his arms, body leaning forward, signs of a defensive position and a high level of cortisol, this stress hormone. And so if at the beginning he was still trying to look cool and collected, then with each passing minute, his tension level only grew. His face became increasingly rigid. His lips periodically pressed together. His facial expression froze. These are clear signs of suppressed emotions. And by the end of the video, his voice became especially revealing. He spoke with restraint, but there was tension in his intonation, as if it was holding back his usual high-pitched scream. And this is a classic conflict between the amygdala, which is the emotion, and the prefrontal cortex, which is self-control. And Trump, on the other hand, controlled the dynamics of the conversation. His gestures were broad and confident, open palms, active hand movements, changes in the rhythm of speech. This is the behavior of a person with high dopamine activity who feels in control of the situation. His voice remained even, with clear accents, demonstrating confidence and dominance. He conducted the dialogue as if he already knew all the possible outcomes, which probably increased Zelensky's tensions. Now, what about J.D. Vance? Now, his posture, if you look at his posture and his manner of communication, also speaks volumes. So Vance sat in a relaxed but confident pose, his hands folded in front of him in a classic, pyramid gesture, signaling concentration and strategic thinking. And unlike Zelensky, he showed no signs of internal tension, but on the contrary, he looked collected and involved. And this demonstrates the work of his prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for analysis and control. It's also interesting that Vance showed interest during the conversation with gestures and body tilt, but did not lose his inner balance, unlike Zelensky. And this suggests that he adapted to the situation much better without experiencing such levels of stress. And so if Zelensky, for example, looked increasingly tense towards the end of the meeting and Trump maintained a relaxed dominance, then Vance, the vice president of the United States, remained neutrally confident, observing the process and probably analyzing the situation. He did not try to seize the initiative, but was clearly in the game. But I think the most important thing is the difference in the level of confidence. If Zelensky did not adapt to the situation during the conversation, his body language again gradually tensed up, then Donald Trump from the very beginning looked like he knew more than he was saying. How do we know this? Well, from his behavior. He does not try to guess the reaction of his interlocutor, but conducts the conversation as if he had already seen all the possible scenarios and outcomes. His brain is not working to analyze current information, but to strategically manage the situation. And this behavior is typical of the people who have inside information or deep confidence in their cards. So there's no doubt that Trump really does know more than Zelensky, and this knowledge gives him that very relaxed dominance, okay, that is felt in his gestures. And so when the video ended, I had a clear feeling that I was watching not just a meeting, but a subtle game of the brains and hormones, where every movement is a signal of an internal decision-making process. And in this game, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, clearly felt like the master of the ceremony. Zelensky, the clown, was totally outmatched, outthought, and outplayed. I'm Daniel Estulin. Thanks for joining us. Please sign up to our free channel at YouTube. Again, this is one of the many episodes of our English language series called World at Large. Until tomorrow, thanks for joining us. Goodbye.